work session for December 1st, 2015. If you'd please silence or shut off your cell phones and join us in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Additions and deletions to our agenda today. We have additions, a web grant appointment, and community service agreement. Is there any other additions or any deletions?
I have no other changes.
Or any others? Okay. With that, we'll go right into our agenda here. Our 9 a.m. Agenda item is a public hearing for County Ordinance number 112 in the matter of opting out and referring matter to general election. Is legal counsel on the phone today?
No.
Nope, not going to be. Okay, so let me get to, one thing I'd like to do is, I'm going to vary this a little bit before I officially open that hearing. Ann is here on the web grant, correct, Ann?
Sure.
And so, in a matter of time for her, I'm going to rock her right through that one real fast. So what we have is, I'll let Ann give the most overview, but we have the potential to apply for an OWEB grant for the rangeland wildfire treatment reduction technical assistance grant application. At the time frame is December 15th, I believe. And Commissioner Kessler's worked with Ann and the Warner Valley
Rangeland Fire Protection Association.
So, this is an action item I would like to do today to build, speed it up. Kim or Ann, would you want to add anything?
Basically, the legislator put some money to enhance the rangeland fire protection agencies. It's a kind of a subset of the Department of Forestry. And they identified money that would go straight to the association that we don't really endeavor in, but also set aside about, what was it, 15,000 to the county for us to help. It's kind of like building a better working relationship with our associations.
It'll be a pass-through of the county, a reimbursable grant of $15,000. Total amount of funds that they will leverage between that grant and the other one, $66,044. And so the action we need to do today would be to appoint Ann as a signature on the grant application, and then through the process, it's awarded, the resolutions for money and expended out.
And they would spend the money on various things such as fire hose, portable tanks, radios, communication gear, et cetera, et cetera. Things that most of these small associations, just non-profit organizations, they don't have a lot of money. So that's the emphasis of this program.
And you're the one most in the dark, Commissioner Shawn. I actually sat in to the informal meeting yesterday, so that's why I know a little bit more.
I am familiar with the other ones around the state, so, yeah.
So, would entertain a motion?
I move that we appoint Treasurer Ann Crumrine as the signature and manager of the grant that comes to the county.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to make Anna's signature for rangeland wildfire treatment reduction technical assistance grant application. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Okay, moving along with our, we'll open up our hearing. This is on County Ordinance number 112. This is what we have in hearing this morning. We'll be also having a hearing at 6 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow we will have a hearing in Paisley in the afternoon. I believe it's at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then we'll have one at 6 o'clock tomorrow night in Paisley also. Give the public a chance to weigh in. This hearing I'm opening it officially at 9:05, is not to debate debate or talk about, debate with us about whether marijuana is legal or not. This is to take testimony about the proposed ordinance, and if we move forward with the ordinance. So we do have a timer, a 3-minute time frame, to come up and speak towards this hearing on this ordinance. And I encourage you to keep it focused on the ordinance itself. It's legal, marijuana is legal in Oregon. That's not anything we can change. This is whether or not we go out to the vote of the people in the general election in 2016 to give them the opportunity to vote for opting out or not opting out. So with that, is there any other board want to give any other overview or anything about the ordinance with hearing?
I'll just make a quick comment that it also doesn't have anything to do with the town of Lakeview, the urban growth boundary, or any annexation that might happen in that urban growth boundary.
And also the city of Paisley, the independent incorporated jurisdiction having their own.
Yes, sir.
I just had one question. I may be confused on this, but this only affects the availability of marijuana, sales of marijuana in the town and county, not the individual's right to grow their own or possess their own.
Correct.
Yeah, as Commissioner Winters said, it's legal to grow it, or it's legal to have, possess it, it's legal to have the 4 plants.
Okay, I
That's
just wanted to.
Yeah.
not an issue.
This would be such as commercial growing,
Right.
processing, retail stores, and medical facilities.
So with that, if anybody'd like to do any testimony during the hearing process, it will be recorded. Step on up. If you would please, everybody, please state your name for the record. And our administrative assistant has a time clock there. We'll try to stay within the 3-minute time frame.
Relatively slow, but we'll try to make it. Mike Getty, retired, 28 years, business manager for Lake County School District 7. First of all, I want to disagree that marijuana is legal in the state of Oregon. The Oregon Attorney General and the Secretary of State both knew that Measure 91 was in direct conflict with the U.S. Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, Article 6, Paragraph 2. Federal law trumps state law. So right now, there's 3 states, Colorado, Washington, and Oregon, that are sitting on a very thin line. And that the federal government at any time can enforce their federal drug laws. I totally agree with sending this ordinance to the people for a vote. We've voted it down once before, we're going to vote it down again. And as far as medical marijuana should be handled in the same manner that any other prescription that is prescribed by a doctor should be handled through a pharmacy. And that the quality of the medical marijuana should be controlled by the state, dispersed by the state to various pharmacies, and then from there, the people who need it can get it from the pharmacy. The negative aspects of approving marijuana in the state of Oregon are going to be profound. We're going to see larger cases, more cases of welfare. We're going to see children being subjected by peer pressure to smoke marijuana. They're going to see adults who preach to the children not to use drugs, but yet they're going to see adults in this community smoking marijuana, growing marijuana. To me, there's just too many negative aspects about legalizing marijuana here in Lake County and statewide. Say.
You don't have to call me, Mike.
Got the timer on. Well, anyway, I'm against it. Oh, and I read the letter that 42nd Street put in the paper last week. They were sitting there, that letter was preaching that we're all gonna live in an economic paradise, and we're not. They didn't address any of the negative aspects of marijuana use in a community. And it's a known fact that marijuana does create and causes psychosis and schizophrenia.
Turns out evidently.
Go ahead and finish what you say.
Well, that's about it right now. Tonight I'll come and do it more organized, with more notes and stuff.
But you gave us a strong message, appreciate it.
And
Thank
so,
you, Mike.
And then hopefully the audience will give me their 3 minutes, and another guy will give me their 3 minutes.
so I did, just a little bit of interaction. I did hear you say that you support the
I support this ordinance on 112 to be a vote to the deed. And basically because of the ex post facto law. Like if you did it just by ordinance alone, that ordinance can be changed any time by any board or by yourself. But if the marijuana industry is allowed to establish itself in Lake County, quasi-legally, and then after seeing the negative effects of what's going on in the community, the commission would say, well, no, let's make it illegal. Well, ex post facto laws prohibit making a legal enterprise illegal at a different date. Even though San Francisco did it on a gun shop. To me, the U.S. Constitution and the Oregon Constitution, if you were to outlaw a legal business, you would be subject to compensation. You'd have to compensate the business. It'd be a taking. It could be a real legal battle. You know. So that's why I favor this. Let's just see what Lake County citizens say about marijuana in this county.
And I'll add, that you're touching on it, how you're just gonna cover it. But if we put this out to a vote, and let's say the populace voted against it, then the commissioners can't at a later date just come up and make a proclamation to legalize it without going back to the people. Once it comes to a vote, any changes would have to go back to the people.
Right. Whether they voted for or against this, if they want to change it, they got to go back to another vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow.
Nice and short. Dan Henderson, owner operator, True Value. Just like to say that I am in favor of this ordinance. Let's put democracy to action. Let's let the people of Lake County decide which direction they want to go. And that's what I believe. Whether it goes up or down, doesn't matter. Let's let the people decide.
Thanks, Dan.
You work fast.
Anyone else?
James, we having a hearing on ordinance to put the marijuana issue as far as sale process out to the public. You can come up and make a statement if you wish. Got you off guard.
You don't.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak towards the proposed ordinance at all? What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that open and we'll move on with our agenda. If somebody throughout the day wants to make a statement, we'll allow it. Is the board okay with that?
Yeah.
Because we're going to continue our hearing at 6 o'clock tonight. Okay, moving on down our non-timed items. So, we'll do the first non-timed item there. Are we ready for that?
Do you want me to go gather?
The appreciation presentation, Board of Commissioners.
I can go get those other two.
wandering in the snow out there if you want to see it.
And while we're waiting on that, we'll go ahead with our gold safety recognition. When we was at the AOC annual convention, annual conference, once again, as a county, we're very prideful when we received the gold award, the gold safety award. That means that in fiscal year 14-15, with 88 full-time employees, we had no lost time accidents. And so, Jay, our human resource person there, present this as a board to you. And this is a huge deal whenever we talk about our employees of Lake County, and with our human resource office working with our employees with no lost time. It comes back to us in our workers' comp rates and just with the wellness of our employees. So I don't know if either other commission wants to say anything, but thank you, Jay, and thanks to all of our employees for doing such a good job.
The only thing I'll add is there are 36 counties in the state of Oregon, and I think this year, I don't remember 100% when we were there for this, but it was either 3 or 4 counties received the gold award, which is really outstanding. It means they don't just give them away.
So, moving back up the agenda to the appreciation presentation, I believe that Commissioner Kester is the lead on this.
Well, I have them here, and I'll pass them to you as the chair.
Okay, we can do that.
First, can we, if you don't mind, Commissioner, can we have Mike LaFleur come up and talk? We've been waiting to do this for.
You know, this appreciation presentation is probably, for this board, one of the most heartfelt things that the county can do as a whole board. We have employees and people out here that has worked hard, went above and beyond, done the things that we're also thankful of for our freedoms, for our veterans memorial out here. And so I'm almost lost for words for how proud I am to be part of this as an individual commissioner. And I think each one of us has our play into this in the background, but the ones that stepped up, done hard work, and made it happen. It's truly heartfelt, and it goes out to our veterans out there. Not all of us served, but the ones that did serve are respectful to the ones that did, and we respect the freedom every day. Sometimes it's our grandparents, our parents, our family members, our sons, such as Commissioner Shawn, that serve to keep our freedoms out there, keep us safe, and give us the right to have these debates in public meetings. So, not to go on forever, it's just very heartfelt, very thankful, and I'm going to go ahead and give out these appreciation certificates, and then other commissioners will probably say them possibly more than me. So, first off, Mr. Gabriel. Mr. Gabriel. Thank you. Before I came.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it.
James Merrill. Mr. Berman. This is the guy. Each one of us commissioners individually listened to every one of our concerns, pulled them together, and made it happen. Thank you, sir.
I'd like to add also, Dave kind of ramrodded it with the help of the other 3 outstanding strong work. Also like to acknowledge Rob Thurman for kind of working the thing, and Dog Lake Construction. who came in and did a lot of the walkway stones and so forth. And also Carl Tracy, who did the electrical and donated quite a bit of time on it also. So those folks are also are part of the appreciation.
Yes, I totally agree, and as Commissioner Winter said about having members of our family who didn't serve, but we are fortunate to have a member of our board who served in the Marines once upon a time, Commissioner Kestner, and he's always been a strong advocate and has helped, I think, the board, even though we truly appreciate our veterans and what they've done for our country. He's a strong presence in that respect. And the only other comment I'll make is, as Commissioner Winter started out and talking about how people feel about things, this wasn't a job for the folks that just received these awards. It was a labor of love, and you could tell it when you were out there. You go out to check and see how things were going, and everybody was so excited about being able to do this on behalf of the community, on behalf of our veterans, to finally be able to see what we ended up with. And we really, really appreciate it.
Several years ago, the CFW kind of launched a program to refocus it, but it got to be more of a task. And we had many, many good citizens of Lake County who made contributions toward financial contributions toward repair or refurbishing of this monument. I'd also like to acknowledge all of them. I can't name them all, but it showed great pride and interest by the citizens in a monument that actually acknowledges those who gave their lives, the ultimate sacrifice in war.
They will recover the original rock, working with the public. The Bert makes an exceptional work. And I'm trying to follow up. I think we're probably leaving some people out, and we apologize, but there's so many people that actually contributed and just support and continue every day now. People pretty much every day somebody saying thank you. That really makes our community look good. Once again, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
I have just a little bit for anybody who don't have all the history of that. Back in late 40s, a gentleman by the name of Perry Anthony, he was a World War I vet, but in late 40s, 48, so he was also the mayor of Lakeview. And he took it upon himself to travel across the county doing fundraising to get this monument laid. This was after he served in World War I, and we lost X number of citizens. In World War II, we lost an even greater number of citizens. So I'd like to express great appreciation for the late Perry Anthony. Also the rock mason, don't have his name offhand, but also appreciation for him. It was a great gesture on the part of Harry Anthony. Ginger, do you know Harry Anthony?
Yes, I knew him really well. He was a good friend of our family's. Sam Stark's grandfather, if anybody hasn't drawn the lines there. And I think, was it Duncan Lincecum who was the mason?
Duncan, probably one of the main.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on our agenda, we're going to jump down to
You better excuse those guys because they won't move.
Mikey's already gone. Thank you guys. We had a few more people come in, just to let people that come in, if you're here for the ordinance hearing, it is still open. If anybody at any time wants to speak towards the ordinance, you're more than welcome. Just raise your hand and let me know. I'd like to acknowledge Town Councilor Ray Sims has stepped in, Ray Turner has stepped in. Sorry about that, Ray. Just to make you aware, just here to listen, or if you wanted to testimony on that. So moving on. Next item is World War I memorial sign. Commissioner Kestner and Chown, this was, Charlie's not here, brought to our attention that the state legislature, Highway 395 has become a World War I Veterans Memorial Highway. And cost for the very nice appropriate signs that are being put up. Not sure if there's been an official request, but there's been some talk of where Lake County may be on support of some money to go towards the signage, as there will be a sign put in the Lakeview area. I don't know exactly where the location is.
I don't have the location either. Of course, everybody can see it. I'll pass it on. But as Commissioner Winter said, state legislator, we've already had a Vietnam highway being Interstate 84 and 97 being World War II. The legislator acknowledged the other conflicts also in 395 is designated World War I Memorial Highway. And a gentleman by the name of Dick Tobiason, chairman of the Ben Evo Foundation, is kind of, that organization is kind of the ramrod to raise some money to put some signs up. And as all of you can see here. And asking for donations from any and all organizations, inclusive of county. We haven't made a decision. Each sign costs about $900. And I was hoping Charlie would be here, but I don't have the number of signs that are in Lake County. Harney County have already placed some at Riley and also going up to John Day area with 395 kind of looks. So it'd be up to the other counties, on up to Umatilla and for us down here to identify where we like to place the signs and how many, and also how much contribution we can make toward that $900 per sign.
So not for a decision today, but for discussion today, was very supportive of something like this. Don't know where we leverage the funds for sure, but I believe that we need to, as a board, be able to leverage some funds to help the boards.
And meanwhile, we need to kind of facilitate other organizations, VFW as an example, or any other Rotary, Rockers, whoever, or private individuals that may wish to make a donation in addition to charity.
So hopefully tomorrow, Charlie will let us know locations, number of signs, and then I would think he would be the one in charge of working with VFW and organizations, and then for us to try to leverage some dollars as a board, good board could be my thoughts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think with our other county veterans appreciation signage, it's only appropriate that we participate in this. So
It wasn't too long ago that the last World War I veteran passed away, what my understanding from at this time.
So, more information to come. Sounds like by consensus we're in support of leveraging dollars for these signs.
Yes.
Okay. Ben is here, mental health agreement number 147793, amendments 1 and 2. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks.
We need to put
Do I
him
get
on
3
a timer.
minutes?
We're going to put him on a timer.
Okay.
I'll be as quick as Dean Henderson.
We have 2 amendments. Ben.
Yeah, the first one is just a minor change in the initial wording of the agreement there. The big changes are that we're not allowed to provide money or deals for a deal exchange program. Never done that. We never planned on doing that, so it doesn't really impact us at all. The other big issue, and that one was some of the financial reporting. I spoke with Jane Crumrine, and she said that the county already does it, so it won't be an issue at all.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that
no financial
impact.
impact there.
And that's on the first.
That's on amendment 1, yeah.
Okay, and we'll act on that tomorrow.
Perfect.
To get the information to us.
Sounds good. And the amendment 2 is, they finally awarded us the state finally awarded us our mental health block grant. So over the course of biennially, we'll receive $29,132 to
Additional.
additional, yes. Essentially, that'll go into our service element 37 funding, flexible funding.
Which is?
We have a rule, you have to buy donuts now.
Sorry.
But it just kinda helps us to put money into various areas that might need a little additional support. So,
It's flexible funding.
it's flexible funding, yeah.
So that brings the total for the biennium from $363,622 up to $392,754.
Correct.
We always like when they give us more money.
Yeah.
It's better than they'll never do.
Exactly.
All right, we'll act on that also tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good day.
Okay. Following right on down the agenda from there, I did go past the public health director recommendation because they're supposed to be around 11. It wasn't officially timed, but that's the reason why I skipped past that work. So, planning commission member recommendation is the next one on the list. Darwin Johnson is not.
Should we go do?
Sure, we're gonna have to get buzzers.
We are gonna have
Yeah.
to get those ones from all of them.
So, while is the tower lease gonna be a quick conversation? Let's go ahead and jump on that and get through this agenda. So, we'll wait on, hold Darwin off. Next item is American Tower Lease Agreement, Second Amendment. Dave Berman, sir.
The research I did, you guys had me follow up with, was, in the other counties, it would depend on the population, of course, and how many sites they have on one tower in the community, whatever. And then, it's also, the agreement is also negotiable, so when they hit us with that, as I called the guy talking to him, he said that, we can negotiate, it doesn't have to be a 40-year contract, we can go 30. So that's just what we need to do is determine if we want to do a 30-year, or however you guys want to.
So if I remember right, the agreement that they proposed was for how many years?
40 years,
Yeah.
15,000.
Yeah.
A one-time payment of 50,000 and the normal rent base.
And it seems like the whole board had concern that was quite some time, especially with the technology changing and other things. And so whenever you had the conversation, would they consider like a 5-year or a 3-year or?
No, it was a 30-year minimum to
Third.
get this deal that they want to offer us on that 15,000.
That's still a long time, and with technology changing and broadband and all these things that's happening, it seems like locking it up for a long time.
Yeah, and we can cancel it, but we don't have to do it, of course. So that's something, because the 30-year minimum is what he said for this deal.
And you was able to check around throughout the state? And that's
Yeah,
like normal?
it's pretty normal, like one in Lane County, they, $15,000 a month, that they have like 10,
Yeah.
you know, and, right, so.
I'm gonna have to grab that again, because I had a lot of notes and questions, and I don't have those in front of me today, but I know some of it had to do with the upfront payment. Instead of after 5 years, I'll just have to look at it again.
Okay. So we'll table it once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now that by table in a day, we had this conversation, it's not jeopardizing any of the service or anything, we're under an agreement.
Right, yeah.
So, just want to make sure the record shows.
Do we,
Thank you.
does that mean we wanna take it off of tomorrow, or do we wanna leave it on for? I don't
Why don't we
know.
leave it on and see if the odds are we may not have enough time to research it fully, but in case we do.
And I know legal counsel had some things that he wasn't real crazy about on it, so let's keep it there for a reminder, just to talk about
Are you coming to pick it?
All right, Darwin, we're to planning commission member recommendation. This we can make recommendations today and we'll act on tomorrow if everything seems to be.
Thank you. Planning Commission has had 2 vacancies for some time, both according to our bylaws and preferred Lake County positions. The positions have been advertised numerous times and are still currently on our website as being vacant. You know, letters of interest are encouraged. There's a form obviously for those who are interested in serving on the planning commission to fill out the cover letter and just kind of describing the background. We had two applications come in for these positions. The planning commission at their November meeting, which was held in Playa, there just south of Summer Lake, decided to recommend one individual. That's Ginger Castro. We have the information. I guess obviously we know Ginger is, has worked for SCRAD and worked for the county on economic issues and would be a great fit. That's my at least opinion. And the planning commission obviously voted unanimously to appoint her to the planning commission to fill position 3, which is set to expire this December 31st. It's expiring, we're not having a December meeting, so it would run for a full 4-year term. So that's simply it.
Well, she told me yesterday she had a couple hours every month that were booked, so I
Yeah,
guess
that's perfect.
Thanks.
Just a technical question. I support an application, everything, for the governing board for SCOED. She's a contract employee through SCOED. Have you checked with legal counsel if there's any conflict of interest to make sure that on language issues, I want to make sure that because we end up being part of a judicial build and everything, I want to make sure that the person's protected that's appointed and the county's protected. So we can ask that question tomorrow at legal counsel, but we financially pay for the position that she holds through another governing body.
Right. So there have been a number of times in which we've had county employees, working on also
Yes.
on the planning commission. Hamilton is an example, Burt Young is an example as the airport manager. So there's a history of this, but it's, certainly there may be information that she knows that the rest of the board may not have, and she'll be able to disclose what she can and legally can, but probably make an unbiased opinion regardless of the word. Planning commission usually makes straightforward decisions based on criteria. So.
I just wanted to cover everything.
Yep.
So the Ginger knows and everything, all bases are covered. Appreciate that she's stepping up.
Yeah, me too.
It's in the record.
It needs to be an asset to it because, as you mentioned, the planning commission doesn't have just unlimited discretion. They have to follow the criteria.
Exactly.
So that's controlled right there. But also her background in economic development, that could be an asset. But or we can ask the legal counsel if there's any concern.
I don't see no problem with it. I just wanted to make sure that the record showed that we acknowledge that. So we'll be acting on that tomorrow.
One last
Ginger,
comment
thank
on
you
this
for-
would be that position 2 still has 3 years remaining on that term. It's still open and will still be advertised on our website. Probably publish it in the paper again at the beginning of the year.
63 would represent which part of the
Again,
county?
South Lake County, we won't have one currently on the board, that's John Flynn. He also kind of represents the east side of Lake County as well. But the planning commission at their meeting did kind of have a discussion about trying to get someone from the west side. Just as a thought, nothing that they're actively pursuing, and didn't want me to specifically put that in the notes, but I just thought that was
Okay, thanks, Darrell.
Thank you. Next item, STF agreement number 3110, ratification. Denise, give us an update on this, and this is what we act on tomorrow also. Can act on.
This is for the purchase of our additional 2 vans. This had to be signed prior to today's meeting, so that's why we're ratifying. It's for our 2 vans that are actually, have been delivered to the dealer, so I couldn't move forward with the purchase of those vans without this.
So and this will release the dollars that we paid for.
Correct, and just as clarification, these are going to be from state dollars, and we will be
in what fashion?
One van will go to North Lake to serve that area. The other van will be in South Lake to fill the need for Adel Flush, West Side, Pine Creek, Valley Falls area, and for in town, so that they don't have to use their bus for 3 or 4 people, so. That's that.
Okay. So, looking at our agenda, on the community service agreement, which is an add-on, I'd like to keep that until 10 o'clock when Jake is here. The other one is public health director recommendation, that's 11 o'clock now, it's actually timed. So I'm going to give an opportunity one more time during the hearing process. Is there anybody here who'd like to testify? Come on up. Thank you.
So my name is Etta, and I'm actually a mental health nurse in Portland for about the last 4 years. I actually just wanted to touch a little bit on what one of my peers was saying about it causing schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is actually caused by a change in the size of the frontal cortex, and there's no true blue cause of schizophrenia that's recognized in the medical profession other than the strong correlation of trauma at a young age. So I just wanted to put that out on the table. Also, I wanted to bring up a lot of the medical benefits of having medical cannabis, which is it helps with anxiety, pain, sleep disorders, eating disorders, and I know this is about the recreational, but if we are currently allowing the alcohol and the smoking, which has no medical benefits, I feel like it is, I think it's pertinent to point that out, that this is something that would be highly regulated, that has been proven to have medical benefits, otherwise we would be having the medical marijuana cards. And so if we, I feel where the OLCC and there's going to be so many regulations, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read the 78 pages of the regulations that are coming with it, but I feel that it really needs to be pointed out that just because if this were to be stopped, it's not going to stop the 4 plants that are still allowed recreationally per property, and it's not going to stop it being legal to carry, I think it's 3 ounces. So I think it'd be a really good idea to really strongly consider having it stay legal here, because it would give us the jobs and the income and the tax benefits as well. That's something that's still going to be here anyways. So I just urge you to really consider all aspects of that.
I'll just make a quick comment, appreciate that. Most people, as we've had the discussions on this, and specifically in the south end of the county, don't realize that, I don't think that the town of Lakeview has jurisdiction over a lot of what you just said as it relates to the south end of the county. It's gonna be, the town has not opted out, and I'm not putting it to a vote of the people. It's going to be legal, both the recreational sales and the medical sales and the growing. And that's, that kind of gets confused with the county part of this. Our jurisdiction is only in the incorporated parts of the county.
So Rich, you have the city here, I haven't heard anything about Paisley. The full northern part of Lake County, U.S. under county jurisdiction now, because there is no incorporation.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, Jake, not your 10 o'clock presentation, but community service agreement, would you come up and do that?
Community service agreement, sure.
This is an addition to our agenda. So Jake, this is work session, obviously, just to give us an update. We'll act on tomorrow.
Okay. Excuse me.
This is between Warner Creek Correctional
Yes.
Facility, Lake County Community Corrections,
Yes.
Oregon Department of Transportation.
ODOT has reached out to us. Thank you. ODOT has reached out to my office asking if we were interested in having some logs. They did had cut some trees down up on Quartz, and they asked us if we wanted those logs for our work program. We went out and looked at it. We do want the wood. Unfortunately, we only have one person certified from the chainsaw, so it wouldn't make much sense for us to do that with one person not being our work crew foreman at that loss. So we reached out to the prison, knowing that most of their work crews are all trained and certified to run chainsaws. So all this is an agreement between us, Warner Creek, and Department of Transportation for the logs. Warner Creek will go out and buck up the logs in the rounds, and our work crew will go out and haul the rounds in and split the wood. And then we will take it and hand it out for our firewood program.
There's no financial cost,
No
this is
financial
just
cost.
an agreement.
Zero financial
to
cost.
Cover all
The only financial cost to us will be our gas and our time going out to bring the logs home and put them home.
which we do already for
Which we already
our
do.
community.
Just for the public and especially those on the camera, the firewood program, give a particular short synopsis.
It's a coordinated effort between Lake County and Warner Creek Correctional Facility, as well as Pacific Pine. Pacific Pine has donated logs. Warner Creek work crew goes out and cuts up the logs, takes the wood back to the prison, splits it up, stacks it. And then we work with the senior center and our veterans officer, identifying folks, seniors and veterans in the community that need firewood, and we will take firewood out to them and unload it and deliver it. So it's a coordinated effort between the mill, the prison, Pike County, the senior center, as well as our veterans officer.
And final recipients are our seniors and et cetera.
Great program. No, just a great program. We don't have this on the agenda for tomorrow.
I believe it's for tomorrow,
I just wrote it on as an additional for tomorrow.
and legal counsel has reviewed it.
Yeah.
Yep. So if it's not on for tomorrow, we'll add it. Thank you, Jake. With that, we're going to take a 10-minute break and come back at 10 o'clock. The hearing will be continued then, as long as the time items at the end. So just a short break.
Thank you, George, for being here on time.
10:30.
item is the treatment court update. We just got through Jake Greer. And before he starts on his presentation, I'd just like to tell everybody here, I sit through the staffing and through treatment court. I'm very impressed, very prideful of what's going on, very prideful of the people that's going through the program, and very excited to hear the presentation to the full board today. There's always an open invitation to the board, to the staffing, to go to the treatment court, and then if we get time, I encourage the board to do that. So just wanted to acknowledge, and Jake was very complimentary, and the judge to the board of commissioners in support of this program. Thank you for that. And so with that, go ahead.
Well, as you know, commissioners, in 2013, the state Criminal Justice Commission had some money available for reinvestment, to reinvest in our communities, to combat 4 things: to reduce prison population, reduce substance abuse, reduce recidivism, and make the county healthy. So myself, Judge Nichols, District Attorney Stapleton, and Ben Paz for Mental Health got together to come together to find what we could do that fit that mold. And what we came up with was a treatment court, similar to a drug court, but we're too small to call just specific drug court. So we cater to substance abuse, both alcohol and drugs, mental health, as well as veterans. So we kicked it off in April. Since April, we've had mental health's had some staffing problems. Someone left, so they're short staffed right now. So we've kind of tried to trim it down to 20 active people. Right now, we have 19 active people in the program. We removed 4 from the program for various reasons, or they just left the program. And then what we're doing, it's an intense program. They meet with mental health several times a week. They see their POs twice a week.
PO being parole officer.
What's that?
Acronym, PO.
Probation officers. And they also they're subject to 3 urine tests a week as well. So it's an intense program. And we've all come together, which is great to see. We have, Commissioner Winters talked about our treatment team and our staffings. In our staffings, it's myself, we have Rachel Frederick, Zach Hall, Ben Paz from Mental Health, Crystal Johnson, Judge Nichols, District Attorney Stapleton, Kirk Quinlivan, pastor at the Faith Center, and we've had either Under Sheriff Hobble or Officer Travis Grindle from PD also attend, and DHS as well, Child Welfare. So we staff everybody's case, and everybody provides input, and we as a team decide what course of action. Are there rewards, or are they remaining neutral, or is there going to be consequence for their actions during the last 2 weeks? So it's been great. We've seen a lot of success. We have 2 of our members of our treatment court here today, just to share what the treatment court has done for them, good, bad, and indifferent, and then Judge Nichols as well. So the open invitation for commissioners and everybody to come partake in if you'd like. The staffings are kind of more reserved, but court is open to anybody, and that's at 9 o'clock this Friday. Judge Nichols?
I'd like to go last.
Okay. Wendy? I'll invite Wendy Hilbert, who's one of our treatment court members.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
My name is Wendy Hilbert Fry, and I've been a part of the treatment court since the latter part of May. And I was asked to speak about it, how it's changed my life. Well, it's changed my life dramatically. It gave me an opportunity to not only, of course, not go to prison or jail, to where I would not accomplish anything, but it also gave me a chance to remedy the issues that I had been dealing with in the past by going to mental health and getting help for those things. I've been sober for over 6 months, since I've been in the court. I do go 3 times a week, I do go to counseling meetings, I'm also a student, and I'm also opening my shop over here on the corner. I'm an entrepreneur, I have worked my whole entire life, I'm a former longshoreman, retired. I've been in the Air Force, I have done a lot of great jobs, had a lot of high-paying jobs, a lot of names, and I ended up becoming an alcoholic. So it can happen to just about anyone. Well, thank God that, I mean, my alcoholism started latter part of my years, not in the beginning. I know better, which kind of makes me probably worse than anyone. I know the difference between right and wrong, and I wasn't raised in a bad family. It was just something I adapted to drinking as my depression increased, and I never got help for what caused me to go through the depression. And through treatment court, they not only are they addressing the issue of being sober, but they are addressing the issue of what got me there. And since then, my life has changed dramatically. I've gone through some battles that I hadn't faced because I didn't have the tools. You know, you can go to college and you can do all these things and own businesses and have all these great titles, but sometimes those basic life skills of stress management, a little simple thing called deep breathing, maybe stop worrying so much you'll get through it. You know, worrying's great. It's kind of like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. Well, I'm off the rocking chair, I'm doing something. I'm opening a business, I'm on honor roll in school, I'm writing grants, I'm getting very political. These things that I have forgotten about that I used to be, because alcohol came in there and I just sort of like disappeared from the world. Well, I'm here, and I'm not leaving, and I'm going to show what I can do. And you know, treatment court gave me faith. The people in treatment court have shown faith in me, which gave me some power too, because I didn't have any faith left in me, and I was pretty down and out. You know, I kind of like an Energizer bunny, and right now I'm going, but I know that yeah, maybe things are happening for me, but that little alcoholism can come in and destroy it at any time. So I make sure I have a sponsor, and I talk to people, and I keep myself in check, because it is a lifelong commitment. You know, I don't want to die and my kids go, oh, she died of alcoholism. I want them to see me when I pass away and say, Mom had problems, but she got through them and she accomplished them. And that's a tool that I now have by going through this treatment court. So I like to see things grow, and it's worth it. It really is worth it. I see changes in the people at treatment court. Anyway, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Thank you so much for standing up and being honest and bringing that forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we also have Rocky St. Clair, who's also involved with our treatment.
Welcome.
Welcome, Rocky.
Hey guys, I just wanted to basically just what you said that I've been through treatment before. I've been through residential. I went through treatment in prison. So a lot of people might think, well, what's different about this? Why makes you think this is going to work for you? It's a little different. This is different. All of them, you know, treatment. The only way it's going to work is if you want to be clean. That's for sure. I mean, nothing works unless you want to do it. But my probation officer, and the mental health people in mental health they actually show interest in it. I mean, really interested and concerned for you, individually as a person that for me, I've seen other people. So that makes it a lot better, you know. And you know, 16 years, I've been sober 13 years, but the 3 years I haven't been I'm just once I use or drink, I just head for the bottom, you know. 'cause I really don't like being, not sober, but, and I always wondered why I couldn't stay that way, because I like being sober, why I didn't stay that way. And traumatic events brought on my first relapse, and I figured I had an excuse. But my last relapse, everything was going good, and I thought that was an excuse. So, all I can say is, I just wanted to, these books that were in mental health, dual diagnosis books, and the mindfulness. This is for the depression, mindfulness and exception workbook for depression. And there's another one here for addiction, and one for anxiety. And, you know, I thought, I ain't got no depression, but I do have a lot of anxiety. I'm a real high-strung person. But I'm finding out that depression and anxiety go together, because if you're really anxious, you're depressed. And if you don't work on these things, you can go through probation and do your probation time and all that stuff, and then as soon as you get out, you're right back with your, your core problems again. And it's just a matter of time before something comes along that you're gonna turn to what you always turn to, Since I was 12 years old, I've been drinking and using drugs, so, that's been my coping mechanism for about everything, and for social too. Socializing just wasn't part of my life unless I was drinking or something, so. And then I became antisocial when I did drink, so it just kind of, but I could say that it's, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here that I've never learned in my other treatment groups before. Things that I need that, for everyday life, I think they will help me a lot. I've been treated with respect, not like some drug addict that's got a last chance, actually be concerned that they do want to help me. And that's good for me, and I appreciate the opportunity, chance. Thanks.
Thanks, Rocky. Thank you, Rocky.
In my job, I try not to be condescending. I am really proud of these guys. I think, Wendy, what day are you opening your shop now?
Okay, December 6th, everybody's bringing their stuff in, officially opening the next day.
What's
So,
the day?
The 7th, Monday.
You guys should go there. I consider Rocky one of my friends. I try not to be, I consider him a friend.
Judge, can I interrupt? Would you say what your business is going to be doing?
My business.
I'll just say it for her. She's over on the corner in the style closet. She's calling her shop the Curiosity Shop, but she won't tell you what it is because she wants you to be curious. And so again, I try not to be, I am really proud of these people. I consider Rocky a friend. I've represented him at times when he's in trouble. His kids and my kids are friends, and it makes me feel good. The drug court model, people tell me, supposedly know, is the most effective way to treat people. It's not for everybody. I think what we have seen, we've adopted it, we changed it. There's no county that is small as us that is doing this without a lot more extra money. And we're hoping to expand it. It's supposed to be the most accessible. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and it won't work out for everybody, but it's worked out for these people, and that kind of makes it worthwhile. And I don't have anything. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I think it's working. It's our bet. It's the best model that's out there to show us what to do. And then the last thing I want to say is I think the commissioner's made a great job in going local and hiring Jake. He's done a great job of leadership, not just with this, but in the adult corrections and the juvenile corrections. He's done some really good job of leadership, and he's presented. Got a lot of good ideas, and I think on that side it's very positive. So He didn't ask me to say that, but I just, I don't come down here much, and I don't wanna come down here much, so, but I wanted to say that, so, anyway, I think it's good, and we're gonna continue to go ahead, and funding could become an issue. And you guys, we may come, but right now, we're getting some justice reinvestment things that may be an issue. Again, it's something I'd like to expand. Time in jail and time in the prison is really expensive, and that's kind of the focus here, is to treat people, and try to treat them with respect too. I try to treat people and see how it goes, so that's where we're at. So anyway, I don't want to say anything else.
And as I mentioned earlier, it's a lot of work on the staff. So hats off to Rachel, Frederick, and Zach Hall as well, because they're the ones in the trenches doing the work, meeting with the clients every week, attending staff meetings on a weekly basis with mental health. So we're keeping open lines of communication.
Well, I thank you for that, Jake, because it is a very intense program. These people that's in the program, the UAs and everything, there's a lot of extra work. So with the PO officers and support, and with the people that go through it, we appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time.
That wraps it up.
I just like to, both people that got up and spoke are both business people here in our community. Takes a lot to stand up in a public meeting and air your laundry that you guys have done. We're very prideful of where you guys are going, where you're getting to. Thank you for being a productive part of our community. Need support, stop in and talk to any one of us. We're there. We have open door as commissioners. We're proud of you. So stop in and say hi.
Thank you.
We want your business to prosper. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you for your time, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Judge. Guys. All right, moving on to our 10:15 item. Is Museum Board recommendation.
Commissioner, we have a person.
Oh, yes, Chris.
I'm Chris Holloway. I was a member of the treatment team, or treatment court, not the team. I just got out of jail yesterday for 7 days because of bad attitude. And I went to a group meeting last week, but in the 3 UAs a week, they don't tell you that once you're there and they're ready to give you UA, you've got 10 minutes to do it. If you cannot produce in 10 minutes, it's considered a fail. Last Tuesday, I showed up at mental health for my group, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I was there at 8:26. They said they didn't open till 8:30, so I went back and I waited. And I went back in, and they didn't have anybody there for a UA to perform it, and I had to go, and I waited to go, and I waited 20 minutes or so, and I had to go and ask them to let me in and just sign my book to let me know, to say that I was there to do a UA, and they refused. And we went into our group, our class, and we were talking. I was starting it's a SOS support group meeting, and I was talking to the group about that, and Crystal Johnson had come in and told me that Jake Greer just wanted to check in with me, and I went into her office, and Jake Greer and Zach Hall were in there, and I walked in, and Jake Greer, no explanation or anything, just told me, "You're free to go. You're no longer a member of the treatment team or treatment court." I asked what the consequences were, because on Friday before, the judge told me I need to talk to my probation officer and about getting out of the course. The DA made the comment that there would be consequences. I had scheduled to go in and see Zach on Monday at 1 o'clock. He was busy, scheduled me to see him on Tuesday. Jake Greer informed me I was free to leave, and I asked him what the consequences were going to be. He informed me that he had no idea, the DA would not agree with any of their recommendations, and I asked Jake Greer to sign my book, saying that I was released from the treatment team. He refused. And I turned to head out, and then I got thinking about it, and I stopped and I asked him, I said, let me guess, you got somebody outside the door to arrest me? He said, no, you're free to go. I walked out and I left, and I knew something was up. And I went in to check in with my probation officer at 1 o'clock. And when he finally got in there, called me in there at 1:30, I asked him if I was gonna go to jail. He said yes. And the reason being was because of a violation, probation violation. I got kicked out of the treatment team, or treatment court. And I went to jail. And the last dirty UA I submitted was August 10th. And since then, I've gone to White City VA, completed residential treatment. I got out and I make all my appointments and all my UAs and everything. I not relapsed or anything, and I still went to jail. I went in front of the judge on Wednesday for my arraignment, and I asked to be OR'd. And the DA and judge both said that they wouldn't do that, they were against it because of my attitude. I spent 7 days in jail for a bad attitude, and I don't think that's right. And not relapsed. I've successfully completed the rehab. The notification of violation that the probation department submitted to the DA on my conformance, this is Mr. Holloway's conformance on supervision has been below average. Mr. Holloway does report and abide by the directions of the probation department. And I'm confused as to how that can be so contradictory. I'm below average, but I do what they want me to. What do they want? And this here is the opposite side of the two that we're here. The treatment court is a positive thing, I think. But it's as long as you abide by their rules and you do what they want, nothing negative towards them. Like I told everybody, I will more likely end up back in jail, but it will not be for drugs. I'm not relapsed, and they still think I need to, after doing a residential treatment, they still think I need to go and do an outpatient treatment, and I'm confused. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Just a little clarification, Chris. This is all news to us here, obviously, on.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
If my understanding is all this agreement for treatment court is done through the court system, and you sign up for it with very stringent guidelines, and it's all the state court system that imposes the guidelines for once you sign up. So you basically sign a contract or an agreement with the court system.
Correct.
Okay, and so did that all flow correct, in your opinion?
Yes, since I was arrested on August 21st, I did 3 weeks in jail, and I had a $3,000 bail on charges that I'd already been sentenced on. I paid the $3,000. I was out for 2 weeks, and I went to residential treatment at White City VA, the SOARS they call it, Southern Oregon Rehabilitation Center and Clinics. And I completed that 2 weeks ago today. And I came back, I was out for a week, and I was making all my appointments, all my UAs, everything, and I have not submitted a dirty UA, and I go to jail for 7 days for a bad attitude. I got out of jail yesterday, I went and checked in with Zach. He wanted to see me this morning at 8 o'clock to do a UA. I was up there at 8 o'clock this morning to do a UA. 8:30, they tell me he's too busy to do one. I asked him to sign my book. Every time I ask him to sign my book, they say the book doesn't mean anything to them because I'm no longer a member of the treatment team. Well, the book means something to me. And I asked him respectfully to sign my book. None of them will. They'll give me a piece of paper. And I've got to go back tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning to try and do a UA.
So you wasn't able to do a UA today?
No, sir.
Thank you for the information, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I don't know this gentleman here, and I don't know his background, but I'd like to say that I went over to...
Can you just give his name?
Okay, Orlando Gonzalez, and I live here in Lakeview. But about a month ago, maybe less than a month ago, I went to the mental health office one day and I needed to give Ben Paz a piece of paper. And I went over there and they said, he's not here, he will be here tomorrow. But he has an appointment at a certain time. And I went over there approximately a half an hour before his appointment and asked to see the gentleman for, I told him, 15 seconds. I just needed to hand him a piece of paper. And they told me he was too busy, he could not see me. And I didn't think that was very good customer service for 15 seconds. If I come in here and say, hey Ken, I just want to give you a piece of paper, which I did yesterday, they take it his time. He's a public employee. But, I have also not received good customer service from mental health. He wouldn't even give me 15 seconds. And like I said, I went early to make sure that I don't interfere with his appointment. So, something's happened.
So we're going to get back on our timed item at 10:15. Mr. Griffin, please step up, sir.
Like your new meeting.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So what we have is museum board, we have a couple of vacancies. The museum board has met. We have recommendations coming to the board of commissioners.
Yes. We would like to recommend Andrea Wishart. She is a former curator of the Lake County Museum. She left for a position at the Senior Center. She has a great affection for the Lake County Museum. She volunteers, etc. And we would like to recommend Shireen Glenn. Shireen Glenn was a longtime curator at the Schmink Museum. Probably knows more about that museum and its eccentricities, both maintenance-wise and holdings-wise, than anyone else. Also, she is a DAR member. Because of certain efforts to possibly combine these two, I think it would be a very good idea that she be on board as a board member and as a sort of a liaison between the Lake County Museum and DAR, who formerly, and in a sense still does, run the Schmink Museum. So that's
We'll act on that tomorrow. I think those are very good recommendations. I'm glad that there are people willing to step up to be on the governing board such as that.
Thank you, John. Thanks, John.
Thank you for your time, John.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Very interesting session. Thank you.
All right, I see Mr. Foster is someplace. Yeah. Our next item is 10:30, Wolf Depredation Advisory Committee, proposed Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. Just about a minute ahead of time. He's on the phone? Yeah. We'll give him 60 seconds. Yes, sir.
If I can come up and talk about the earlier.
All right. Pause, we have a hearing going on at the same time, so we have the person's going to the hearing on the ordinance on marijuana. So it'll be just a minute.
No hurry.
Maybe three, we gave it minutes.
First of all, my name is Jerry Harper, and I do own land down in Christmas Valley, several different parcels. I appreciate the opportunity to actually come before you guys. I know it's busy, I know it's a taxing thing. Some of the information that I'm not sure that the voters are actually aware of is the positive side of everything. We're talking about mental health, you talk about everything else, needing more funding. I don't believe that everybody is aware of the positive aspects of all the different funding that actually comes from this. And the backlash of not doing it is you get none of that funding. You know, there's millions and millions of dollars. Colorado donated $13.6 million in tax revenue in 5 months to the school system. I mean, divided over the 36 counties that are in the state of Oregon that are actually doing it, that's approximately $400,000 in school revenue in addition to what's going on right now, given a somewhat even split. Taking away the option for landowners to do what they want with their own property kind of goes back to the whole constitutional thing. If you want to do certain things, then fine, ban certain things, but now you're talking about, okay, well, if I want to farm marijuana per se, no, we don't agree with that, but if you wanna farm pigs, it's okay. It kind of comes to, okay, well, now you're gonna get into, well, you can farm this, but you can't farm that. You can farm this and you can't farm that. If we wanna let individual cities make the decision, I think that's a great idea. But as far as the whole county, I'm outside of city limits, unfortunately, otherwise I would be in the city going, hey, let's stop it. All the revenue's gonna go somewhere. You're not gonna stop, like other people have mentioned, you're not gonna stop that person who's growing the floor. You're not gonna stop the person who's smoking it already. I believe it was, the Governor John had observed, quote unquote, the people who are smoking marijuana before the legalization still are, they're just now paying taxes on it. So you're not gonna get more people coming in. I don't believe that Lake County is going to be the haven for everybody who's smoking pot. I don't believe that that's the actual goal. I believe that citizens aren't aware that the people that are smoking it are still legal to smoke it. The people who have their Ford are still legal to have it. The only thing that you're preventing is the actual positive side of the aspect. The OLCC is doing great as far as regulations, they're doing great as far as governing it, they're doing great as far as the taxes going back. As far as everything's concerned, again, if you're gonna do it for the medical aspect, what's the difference between doing the recreational aspect? Would be a concern. So far, the city of, or the county of Lake County has adopted in building codes as an example. It's the same as the state. My question would be, why are we changing now, would be the question. The building codes for Lake County are almost exactly copy and paste from the state of Oregon. Why would this be something else to change? Thank you.
Okay, we lost him again.
He on the phone.
He's on the phone again. Is there, while we're waiting on the pause, is there anybody else that can do any testimony on it?
Well, the real Ray Sims is here.
Ah, I see the real Ray Sims.
Instead of the other Ray Sims.
Oh. Oh. James?
I don't know how to operate, but I think 3 minutes are up.
Okay. James Ross. And the only thing I gotta say about it, and I listened to all this, I see the stuff in the paper. But one thing, the gold mines have been kinda coming here for 20 years or better. Ain't still not here. The biomass place, we had 2 biomass places that kinda go in here and they die here. They said, well, we're gonna have all these jobs in 5 years. I don't see that. Now, we got some jobs that will come in here. And it looks like they will do it if we let them. Now, illegal, people gonna smoke it. I don't. I have never smoked marijuana in my life, and I ain't going to. Now, we got the hill, Jay Hill, talking about the hill, we need more of that. We need more schools against it, so the children will know what it will do to you. The medical come, go for it. But I can't see kicking out when illegal. It's safe. We voted down the prison 3 times. We got it. We voted down the marijuana. We got it. Illegal. You can go. Better to have all in one location than have 20,000 people going to Southern Park. Which you know they're going to do more than that. And they're going to be black market. So put the money into the law, put into education, put into rehab, and it will help, I think. I don't know. My opinion.
All right, pause.
I'll quit answering the phone.
All right.
Okay.
Our next item is the Wolf Depredation Advisory Committee proposal. So,
okay, County Commissioners, I'm Craig Foster, I'm the District Wildlife Biologist for Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. The reason I'm here today is to request that the county establish a wolf depredation compensation advisory committee. I think I've sent you some documentation on it. I gave Denise a little more stuff that I've scratched up. that might help go towards questions. I'm kind of kick this off, I've got a little bit of a formal presentation to run through this morning to start the conversation. So this program is administered by Oregon Department of Agriculture. It's actually not an ODFW program. It's designed to provide compensation for the loss of livestock or working dogs that are killed by wolves.
Sorry.
I'm out? Okay, I'm out.
You're done.
It also provides financial assistance for non-lethal control measures or preventative measures to keep wolves from attacking livestock. To participate, a county's got to establish an advisory committee. These are the ODA rules governing the program. Membership on that committee is 1 county commissioner, 2 livestock producers, 2 members who support wolf conservation, and then ultimately 2 county business members. Okay? There's dollars available to the county for program administration. It's up to 90% of the cost. They compensate the county for what it costs to administer the program. Most of the grant money available in this is actually earmarked specifically for preventative measures. There's less money available at this point in the program for non-lethal control. And the reason for that is that the way the compensation program is set up, if a livestock producer has not implemented some level of non-lethal control, they're actually not available, they're not eligible for compensation if they're operating in an area of known wolf activity. Like I said before, this isn't an ODFW program. We're very involved with wolves, obviously. We act as technical advisors to the committee if it's established. We're there to help with conservation status, like the recent delisting in the state, and answer policy issues. And then we work with both the committee and landowner on non-lethal control options. If a depredation occurs, we are charged with completing the depredation investigation and making a determination whether that loss was caused by wolves or not caused by wolves, something else. And then we also publish areas of known wolf activity, areas of wolf depredation, and conflict deterrence plans. Those are our jobs. Those are legal specific documents that the committee has to review in making their determination for compensation. Okay, those are things that we have to provide to the committee, that when the landowner applies for compensation, are these documents in place, okay? In the packet that I gave Denise, there is a couple of maps. One of the maps for OR 25 of known wolf activity, area of known wolf activity, and then the area of depredating wolves for OR 25, which we'll get to OR 25 in a minute, okay? Why now? Why does Lake County need this now? During the past 2 years, well, let me back up. The department tries to track all reports of wolves or wolf tracks or indications of the presence of wolves in a database. We ask people that either see wolves or see tracks to get online and get them in the database. If they come directly to me, I put them in the database for them. Over the past 2 years, I've got 14 reports that, although I can't say they are confirmed wolf reports, they aren't anything other than that, okay? The legal aspects of wolves is real touchy, so unless I've got a DNA sample that says it's a pure wild wolf, it's not a confirmed, okay?
It's a wolf-like canine.
It's a wolf-like canine, right. OR 25 moved into northeast Klamath County last May. And he moved around northeast Klamath County and northwest Lake County which is that map of the area of known wolf activity. You'll see it takes in the western portion of Yamsey. Until the 4th of November, when he decided to start eating cattle. And he killed one calf and he maimed 2 others, which generated the conflict deterrence plan and various known wolf depredation. And since the 4th day of November, 2 of my employees have been living with that wolf every night, at least 1 and sometimes 2, keeping out of those calves, okay? If Klamath County's committee would have been up and running and had applied for grant money, we could have hired a local person to do that. And my staff didn't have to do that, but we were, even though they're still federally listed, we were unwilling to leave those calves unprotected. And so my guys lived out there every night until the calves shipped just after Thanksgiving Day. Okay, so the committee's deterrence plan, there's a lot of different things in non-lethal control, but one of the best things you can do is stay with that animal and make sure he doesn't get back into the pen. And that means somebody spending the night out there monitoring the signal if it's a collared animal, running spotlights, and basically singing cracker shells at him if he does decide to enter the cat patch. Okay?
What kind of action can they take? Just steer it off or?
Basically hazing, we are, because OR 25 is federal protected and because we're hoping he's gonna settle down now that the calves have shipped. But there's still a few mother cows out there, not very many, and they're pretty close to the house, so we think that's gonna solve the problem. These were wiener calves, 450, 500 weight wiener calves. If he continues, we've solicited the Fish and Wildlife Service for the option to use of rubber bullets. It's all gotta be non-lethal. This is a fully endangered, federally protected species, okay? We haven't heard back yet. So, OR 28, which was a female from the Mount Emily pack, moved to the north end of Lake County 2 weeks ago. And she's been traveling 20, 30 miles a night, just popping around. We've known she was there because she's got a collar on her. Thanksgiving morning, she hung up at Table Rock above the Vaughn place right outside of Silver Lake. Yesterday, we got confirmation that she found 2 dead cows and she's like, and she's not moving. And so we're keeping an eye on her. We've been talking to landowners. When I stepped out before, that was Tom O'Leary wanting to know how close our visitor was to his ranch. And so, you know, we're gonna work with the landowners and the X ranch and start dealing with kill of the, you know, bone piles and death pits. Because we don't want them to get the taste of cattle, and because dead cows turn into live cows sometimes, okay? So, not all wolves attack livestock, not all wolves get in trouble. You know, classic example is the Naha pack, the first pack ever established in Oregon, has never been in trouble with livestock. The Naha pack formed in 2010, started eating cattle the next day. So, some of them do, some of them don't. We have enough wolf activity in the county now that objectively, the day's coming, we're gonna have some problems. I would guess in the next 2 years, we're gonna have an established pack, 2 to 3 years. It's just the way it works. And so we should start getting prepared for some problems. And the first step in that is establishing one of these committees. So that's what I'm here for. I'll answer any questions. Keep in mind that this is my program, but I see a need and I think it's time to get started.
Well, I guess probably talking about the administration, the dollars, you say 90% reimbursement for the administration of this program to the county. That's why and I'm trying to read through here and at the same time, what costs are allowable on the administration if,
Talking with Tom Collin, he's my counterpart in Klamath County, and he's been working with depredation committee that Klamath County established last year. That's, Klamath County is the designated Lanny Hickey, who's one of their administrative assistants, to lead Ramrod for scheduling meetings, securing rooms, handouts, making copies of handouts, that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's compensation for time. I don't know all that. And the contact, I've had a call and several emails to negotiate contact, but they, Jason hasn't gotten back to me yet, so I really don't know what that is.
Okay, there's a requirement to keep minutes of these meetings also. And so could we pay somebody on the committee, or let's hypothetically, we use the commissioner's administrative assistant, or can we get compensation for those times?
I believe you can, but like I say,
Okay.
it's not my program, so I'm not 100% positive, and that, there's a line in the OER that says, up to 90% of the administrative costs of this committee can be reimbursed, okay? That's it.
Foz, Commissioners, I think that there's an opportunity to visit with some of our counterparts in Northeast Oregon who have been involved with this for quite some time. This came before the AOC's, Association of Oregon Counties, Public Lands Committee, some time ago, about 4 years ago, and that's when they established some of their groups up there. And so I think there's a lot of information available on it.
This legislation was passed in 2011, and actually, I don't remember which one of you guys I talked to at that time, and at that time, we didn't have a lot of incidental wolves in the county, and, it's kind of like a let's wait and see,
Yeah.
But we're there.
We're there. Well, obviously we are. What we have done, Foz, or what I've done with Denise is we've pretty much plagiarized Klamath County's wolf depredation compensation committee guidelines. So we're setting the stage for that. Tomorrow we should be able to act on how we form this. The recommendation that to the board here is I think when we form a committee, get this together, there's a lot of interest out there, so getting the people that will bring the most to it. We may have more than one application, so after I've thought about this on the cattleman side, I think we should pose the question to the cattleman to recommend 2 people from the...
I took the initiative to contact Toby Agrona, and I told him that I was coming before the commissioners today, and told him to get ready. I think they're gonna come to the stock growers and want 2 volunteers, so start thinking about it.
I think that's a good way for us to go for them. One commissioner, 2 business people. I guess we could advertise for that. And then 2 people that are supportive of wolf conservation. I guess we advertise for that also. Do you have any suggestions?
I am drawing a blank. I am absolutely drawing a blank.
I would think with our local humane society people that there might be some people interested on the conservation side locally. It'd be nice to keep, I don't know if there's a requirement for it to be, does it all have to be local people within the county?
I don't know that.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say, so, yeah.
Okay. So I would think tomorrow we could possibly give direction to our administrative assistant to get hold of stock growers and then advertise for those other positions.
The 2 business would come later after the committee is formed.
Is that
The
the way?
2 business members are solicited by the 5 original people on the committee, the way the OAR is set up. So the committee formed with 2 livestock producers and with 2 people that support wolf conservation in the state, and 1 county commissioner. And then they appoint 2 business. Okay.
Mr. Ross?
I got 2 questions here. Who decided to bring the wolf into Oregon? I don't remember both of them.
that we did not bring any wolves into Oregon. When they introduced wolves into central Idaho wilderness, they started swimming the Snake River about 7 years later. The first wolves came into Oregon, the first known wolf moved into Oregon in 1996 into Grant County.
So it makes sense that they're gonna multiply price.
I'm not sure I understood that.
They're gonna be more than as the year go on.
We are currently at an estimate, a minimum population estimate of 88 wolves in the state, 9 known facts. And we can pretty much assume that that is an extreme minimum population estimate. We are currently receiving approximately 350 wolf reports outside of the eastern non-listed zone every year. So they're dispersing sub-adults and they're on the road.
Now, how long will it take to pay the farmer for that loss? A year?
I don't know that.
Don't know that.
So what we have these dollars that can be leveraged, there's a limited amount of dollars that's able to be leveraged, but if we form this committee and everything, there is dollars available we can leverage to help our stockholders out.
That's correct. The little bit of time I've spent with this, apparently it's a grant process. The committee would apply for a grant for, they apply for a grant for the preventative measures, and they basically, depending on what preventative measures they choose to implement, and there's a list in your packet that I handed Denise just this morning. There's a list of the preventative measures that have worked in the past. Number one is getting rid of all bone piles, burying all dead cattle. And so there's actually, like in Wallowa County, they have a compensation program. They have a contractor, heavy equipment contractor, with a backhoe and a dump truck. If the landowner doesn't have time to deal with it, they go deal with it. They've got either burying in place, or they've actually got a spot designated on county land to bury cattle. Yeah, the number two is flattery. It doesn't work in every situation, and it's gonna have limited use in this county because our birds are big, but if you've got a small 5-2-5, nothing in it pasture, flattery can work. And so, the recommendation from the people that have already been dealing with is the committee has a mile of flattery ditched in the warehouse someplace. So if you need it, you can roll it up. Stuff like that. So, and you apply for a grant for a certain amount of preventative measures, and then, as I understand it, and I'm not sure this is exactly right, so that if there is confirmed depredation that the landowner wants compensation for, then they apply for that, and that compensation comes after the fact. Okay, so until you get to be like Wallowa County, where they have actually a pot of compensation money because they've had damage in the past, you would apply for your compensation next year. And now Wallowa County's got to the point where they have a pot of compensation money that they can pay out fast. I think that's right.
Yeah.
But most of the other counties don't have compensation money on hand. They have prevention money on hand, but they don't have compensation money on hand. So if Klamath County would have had some prevention money on hand, they could have, if the committee chose to, they could have paid to hire a hazer to deal with the R-25 until those cattle shut.
Mr. Ross?
Yeah, now what's gonna happen when we have one with a human and a dog, a wolf? It's coming.
Human attack?
Yeah, it's coming. You know it is. It's a when.
I'm not 100% positive that it is coming, but if we deal with that comes into a whole nother realm. We're talking about livestock loss here. When you start dealing with attacks on humans and human health and safety, all bets are off. Even the Endangered Species Act basically gives you an out there.
Okay. Mr. Getty?
I've got a question for Mr. Foster. What's the status of the effort to delist the wolves in Oregon?
They're delisted because we met the recovery goals, they're delisted statewide on the state list. They are still, and I didn't bring handouts and a map for everybody in the room, but they are still federally listed, basically west of 395/78. So 3/4 of the state of Oregon, they're still federally listed. And what's the potential that they would be delisted federally? I wouldn't even bet money on that happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother political realm that I'm not gonna get into. My passion is too small for that fight.
The depredation coin has two sides. One is agriculture, loss of personal property. Have you been able to determine what the effect these wolves have on wildlife, such as deer and elk?
There's quite a bit of research going on right now, and actually our research arm in Northeast Oregon is working on some of that in Wallowa County. The answers are not crystal clear, okay? Yeah, they're gonna eat deer, they're gonna eat elk, they're gonna have an impact on big game, they don't have much of an impact on bighorn sheep, pretty steep ground. How much of, like what you see coming out of central Idaho is actually due to death loss and population decline, and how much is due to a change in behavior? That's the $64 question. And in some places, there's actually been a decline. Not in Oregon yet, we haven't shown that, but in central Idaho, there's places where there's actually been a depredation caused decline in population size. Other places, it's not that clear, and most of it appears to be a behavioral shift. The elk don't stand out in the meadow anymore at daylight. They go hide in the brush as soon as their belly's full. Because if they stand out in the meadow, somebody's gonna come by and try and eat them.
So these dogs have to eat almost every day. And if there's 80 of them out there, they're eating something besides livestock.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There. Okay. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Mike, but we're in the wolf business. We're gonna be in the wolf business forever. There's no getting out of it. It's a matter of how we're gonna manage the situation. Okay,
Well,
they are going to have an effect on big game populations. I'm sorry, they will.
Yeah.
We have to get some logical, reasonable way to deal with that. This presentation today is just dealing with
The agricultural
livestock
side.
depredation piece.
Correct, but you know, hunting is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Disagree.
We're compensating one side and leaving the other side, as hunters, in the dark. My solution is that we need to come up with a predator control program where you maintain those packs at a certain level so they don't have that much of an impact.
Can I have just a minute or more time? Absolutely. Or, that's one way, or the recovery goal for Oregon, if you look at the wolf conservation strategy for Oregon, is to get them to be just another big game species. They'll be like lions, they'll be like bears, there'll be a tag, there'll be a season, we will hunt wolves. When we meet our recovery goals, when we get out of recovery status, so we're through, even through phase 3, they become another managed big game species like deer, like elk, like waterfowl, like lions, okay? And we set seasons and we have tags and off we go.
What's that?
North American wildlife management model has been implemented a bunch. We will continue to have conflict.
Yeah. What's that goal then?
What?
What is that goal? What is the population goal?
I can't answer that. I don't know. Because it's in the plan. I didn't look that up because we're a long ways from it. We're years from it. And oh, by the way, we've got to get out of federal listing before we ever get there.
Yeah.
Okay?
I realize that.
Okay, we'll pull us back to the item in front of us. Thank you, that was a good conversation. Tomorrow, we'll act on this, Boz.
Do you need me here tomorrow? I can't be in Paisley.
We're in Paisley tomorrow.
Okay, that doesn't matter
I
to
don't
me.
see no need at all.
If you need me here tomorrow, or in Paisley tomorrow, I'll be here.
I think we're good. It's a matter of just getting the process going, get the committee appointed, and going from there. And
Okay.
tomorrow we should be ready to start that.
I'll help any way I can.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice one.
All right. Have a good day. So, we're running a little bit late, Charlie, we have to go there on the time thing. That's fine. You guys are doing okay? All right, so our next item is our public health director recommendation. Jay is here, Mary Beth is here. So, Jay, you want to take the lead?
Sure. Mary has been our, with the public works, public health for,
That's her
what,
husband.
18 years? How long have you been the director? About 18 years. So sadly, she is beginning to think about her future that doesn't involve going to work every day. But fortunate, we're in a fortunate position to be able to do some succession planning here. So the proposal is that we appoint Beth Hadley as the director. Mary takes over Jill Harlan's job. Jill Harlan takes over Beth's position. I think it makes sense because it allows us to keep the director on, keep Mary here to help with this transition. It's a difficult budget that they have, a lot of different funding sources. Help Beth get through at least this first budget cycle, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think it does.
Typically, we would fly a position once a person left, but there's no transition typically there. And this, we have two pretty close, three, and Jill. We've been working together for years, and they would just transition and learn each other's jobs and so forth. It's a win-win in my book.
Absolutely, as a governing body, as a board of commissioners, we appoint the directors, and I think this is, whatever you can promote from within is a very good thing. So, for you to step up and be part of the management team and work with the rest of us. Thank you. Mary, all your years, I remember back whenever we tried director working as just the team concept. You've done awesome over the years. Can't thank you enough for what you've done and continue to do the support out there for public health and everything. Thank you so much. I think Beth will step up and continue that.
And we really never left that team concept. So we've always been a team and done everything together, and so it's worked out well. So I think that it's gonna do a wonderful job, just continuing that.
She has good talent.
Yep. So, this isn't on the agenda, so we need to officially appoint Beth to this position.
And you can do that tomorrow.
We can do that tomorrow.
Okay.
You want to just,
It's on for
is it
tomorrow.
on for tomorrow? Thank you for keeping me under control. We will officially appoint this position tomorrow. Thank you so much.
She's gonna be the boss of me tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, let's rethink
That's
this. We got one more time.
3:05, Mary. 3:05.
3:05,
Yeah.
I'll be ready.
Okay.
Have you got a performance evaluation in line for Mary tomorrow?
Yes, I'm getting it ready. Yeah.
Well, it's already been said, but we're so fortunate here to have had Mary, and we'll still have her for a while. But to
Yeah.
have had Beth and Jill, and Beth, yeah, I know you're gonna be great.
Thank you, and I truly can't say enough about the great job Mary's done. I think she's probably been an unrecognized star for many years. She has really been a fantastic person for our county and for our department, so we do appreciate Mary. Yeah, we're glad she's still gonna be around.
The mentoring she's been able to do for you and the other folks over there is, it just fits. This is the way things should operate.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
So we don't anticipate any problems. The nurses, none of the nurses are in the union anyway. And Beth understands that this is an exempt position,
And you work 86 hours a week.
she knows what that means.
Yeah, your phone's never off.
Yeah.
Thank you for stepping up.
Great, thanks for the opportunity, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
And so we'll go backwards, thank you guys, thank you
Okay.
ladies very much. So we'll go backwards to, Harv. So we had a couple things, talked about the highway program, World War One.
Okay. Charles Pike, Lake County Veteran Service Officer. Anyways, first of all, I have to say that our Oregon veterans should be recognized, and especially Lake County. I wish I could have been the Veteran Service Officer back during the World War I times when we still have World War I veterans here to do something like this, because honoring them with a highway is huge. The honors,
Especially our own 395.
especially our own 395, you're correct. The honors to Oregon's 44,200 World War I veterans who have served, 1,066 who died, and 1,800 who were wounded during the Great War of 1917 and 18. Will be accomplished by 10 large 4 foot by 8 foot.
No, those are only Oregon veterans that you talked about.
These are Oregon veterans. And the 4 foot by 8 foot signs installed on US 395 would be on the major border highway totaling 383 miles in length. And I know that you guys already talked about it a little bit extensively, I don't know how much more you need, but this is what I'm asking from the county. The goal of the commissioners is that the county donates $450 out of that $900, and other organizations match the $450.
So Charlie, with that, because that was one of the questions, but it was also a question, where will the sign, is it only gonna be one sign?
I bet I'll get
Okay.
to. I want to make sure I wrote all this down. I'll remember those sometimes when I start chattering, but I want to make it short and sweet. Umatilla County will have 2 signs as it is between the ends of the highways. Commissioners there voted to donate $900 for 1 sign with a match by VFW and other patriots for a 2nd sign. Each end of US 395 will have 1 sign. In our case, Lakeview, Lake Counties, a northbound sign somewhere between Oregon-California border and Lakeview. I think it'd be great to have a sign somewhere where, family members could say, my grandfather, great-grandfather was World War I, and have the sign and maybe a great background for them. So I think that's something we can work with. The VFW and commissioners can work out the actual sign location with ODOT. Dick Tobiason, Bend of Heroes Foundation chairman, was able to collect between 500 and 2,500 from each 10 county commissioners located on US 97 World War II highway and I-84 Vietnam highway. I would like to see the Lake County commissioners donate on behalf of their citizens, and the county VSOs donate on behalf of the veterans per their charters and mission statements. Harney County is planning to create a new plaque with the names of their 6 World War II dead displayed. We have ours already displayed. We have 17 that are displayed. But we have a lot of veterans that still had service-connected disabilities that just the World War II guys of mustard gas. One just passed away recently. We have notification that there was some World War I people that died. It was from Lake County in California, just passed away by mustard gas results. You can see there's a lot more out there, not in just Lake County, but they passed away in other places. I think this is great to go ahead and dedicate a sign to these World War I veterans and recognize them, though there aren't any World War I veterans now, but I think this is a good time to do it.
So, 1 sign, is that what we're talking?
1 sign, that's all we need, because we've already got one in Harney County.
I know we're gonna talk about this tomorrow, I'm quite sure this board's gonna support this completely, but the location, and I know that hasn't been determined, but you mentioned state line to Lakeview. And I would think that something north of Lakeview would be a little more appropriate, because we get an awful lot of traffic from 140 families, different people that end up going out 395 and on up to John Day. If it's down there, there's gonna be less folks that get the opportunity to see it and recognize what we're doing.
I'll add to that, there at Valley Falls, we have 395 strips.
Correct.
The milepost on Highway 31 continues from Lapine into Lakeview, which is misleading.
That is misleading.
But that's a kind of junction that might be a 2nd sign would be for reasons so stated there. But it's a diversion of the highway system that a lot of people that didn't come up from south would not know that 395 is going off to the right if they're going on.
Okay, I know he mentioned 10 signs. I can get with Dick Togensen and ask him what he thinks of that, and see if we can get ODOT to support one more sign for Lake County. That means we'll need $1,800 total. That'd be $900 sign per end, from Valley Falls to the Oregon-California border.
I personally see a minimum of 2 signs.
Yeah, I
To
do
be able to
too.
capture the traffic and the flow.
Yeah.
And my mind's almost going 3, and I don't, I'm not sure, but somebody needs to look at the logistics of our highway system, and I see minimum of 2.
I do too.
To capture what we really want to capture.
Okay, I'll bring that up. I'll bring that up to him and see if we can get one additional sign made for Lake County. And I'll use that.
I don't want to burden the match amount, so if that becomes an issue, I believe that we'll find the money to make it happen. We don't want VFW or anybody else to be burdened too hard on what is the correct thing to get done. And I'm speaking in.
No, I totally agree, and not only that, but it's hard sometimes to raise funds, and we don't want it not to happen in a timely manner.
Right.
Because of the funds.
Okay, well.
And we don't want to offend anybody by not being able to contribute, because there's a lot of pride that way too. So
Absolutely.
It's a fine line there that we want to make sure it's covered.
Absolutely, and I'll let you know before tomorrow if we can get one additional sign from ODOT at the same cost.
So what you guys see minimum of 2, capture the California side and capture this side up here also.
Minimum of 2.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think that junction at Valley Falls is a critical point.
Okay, I'll bring that up, and I'll let you know before tomorrow's. Is that
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
You weren't here, but we've done a presentation on the Veterans Memorial Appreciation to the people that worked on that. And just let you know,
Great.
very nice. Mike Lepore and Junior Dave.
Great, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We mentioned you.
You mentioned me.
We did.
Oh,
And thank you for your time on that too.
great, thank you very much.
Is that all we need now, Charlie?
Yeah.
You know, let us get on.
Charlotte's not very good with directions, so that's all I
All right, so looking through our agenda here, so I missed anything. We have all department updates are taken care of. We have liaison updates to go. Is there anything that I've missed? Does anybody want to do that with popular liaison updates? Start off with that. You guys
Never
are-
popular.
All right, I'll break that.
The chairperson leads.
I guess one of the things that I'd like to update everybody on is been working with the local perlite industry, Cornerstone. Been meeting with them and with OSU Extension. They have a byproduct that is a very fine sand that they haul back, and we're trying to find a market for that. Commissioner Tester's been able to partake in some of the ad hoc meetings with OSU and with the perlite industries. Trying to find out if there's potential for this topped fine still used in agricultural use for water retention. Getting a lot of very positive conceptual ideas. OSU is stepping up to try to maybe help us with some modeling of how this can work with different soils. With that, there's a cost, not a cost to the county. We're doing this, I'm doing this as trying to bring players together. The Perlite Institute has some dollars to maybe help with the funding for that. If we could find a use for this extra perlite, it would be good for water because of it pops 12 to 20 to 1. So one little piece of sand turns into 12 to 20 times bigger, which has a water retention of roughly 30% water retention, if my numbers are right. Plants, hopefully the concept is that the plants have more suction, so this perlite could be put into the soil, hold the water, as the plant's needed, they'll absorb it out of that pearlite. And less water, or water use, the market could be locally here on dry land or even alfalfa, reduce the pumping cost on alfalfa. It could be go to a bigger market, 500 miles away to the almond and olive places if it could work out in those type of soils. It could be instrumental in Klamath Basin with the potatoes and other crops there with their water issues. So trying to bring together the people, get the factual information and the studies done on that, and just an update of some of the things that we get involved in as commissioners, that businesses come to be a local industry and try to help out. So just an update, let you guys know. Do you have anything to add to that? Ken? You've been on the fringes of Ginger is, I do need to mention Ginger, sort of put her as the lead to pull the meetings together.
There's kind of two parts to it. One is the scientific, biological, physical part of, does it retain enough water to make it worthwhile and all this. And the second part is the economics, transportation cost, parking cost on the location, and does it, in the end product, is the crop produced making a profit margin to offset the expenditure cost. So Willie Riggs of OSU Extension will be looking at the economics, and they have a PhD in soil science named Rich, somebody that would do scientific studies so it would be credible as opposed to just hand it over. The biggest thing is making sure every piece of dirt is different, every crop is different, so it's a smorgasbord. They look at maybe two options in Lake County 2 and Klamath for the most common soil type, and it take 3 years or so for studies.
Yeah. Once studies are done and the factual information will be there, and the cost analysis is a big part of the study too. I guess other thing to report on, just because we're in our actual meeting, we had a special meeting last week on the community service fees and Red Rock Biofuels. That agreement was brought forward. We as the county had a special meeting, met with the town. We're in agreement. We still have our resolution due. It'll be on our next agenda. At that time, that'll be the final part that we need to do for the community service fee side of it. I did mention the other day in that meeting, I wanted to let you guys know through the negotiations, negotiated that none of the ash or the waste cake will be taken into our landfill. I didn't want our landfill to be filled up with just waste, so they have to be able to ship that product out or take it someplace else. We still have a track agreement, some other agreements, road agreements that we'll be working on as this project goes forward. So I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to make sure you guys were aware of the landfill is a big thing for us because of, as we're trying to get into small landfill exemption, if we would have had this huge amount of waste going in there, we've just been in trouble for our citizens. So I wanted to update you guys on that. And I think you were aware of that, but now it's in session. So with that, I'll let somebody else give them the liaison updates.
Right down the road.
Well, the only, just in that same vein, I've been continuing to be in contact, and it's specific to Red Rock, but the greater good is the forest health with Senator Wyden's office. I will be hopefully this week talking to Sarah Biddleman. The senator apparently is proposing, and this is information that I was able to get from Wayne Kinney, his district rep out at Bend at our AOC conference, but apparently the senator is looking at kind of rewriting the rules on renewable energy and definitions, which has been the big stickler on being able to utilize off of federal lands any of the biomass, the waste material, because it doesn't fit the guidelines of renewable energy. So hopefully we'll get to where we need to get, because Red Rock is coming, but we've got, you know, 1,000,000+ acres just on the forest, available within Lake County, and then on our BLM lands, a lot of material out there that's waste material, whether it's got junipers that end up getting burned or whatever it happens to be. So I'll keep you guys updated on that as the senator works on redefining renewable energy and being able to get those definitions so we're inclusive on our federal lands of the biomass product, so.
Very good.
Yeah, Commissioner Sharon alluded to the biomass off of the federal lands are exempt from tax incentives or tax credits. And that was a decision in Congress back in mid-2007, or whatever it was. So he's working on getting that adjusted. On the wild horses, I believe I'm told that the BLM has been.
Did you say feral horses?
Feral wild horses, or wild feral horses. Yeah, they got the numbers down by Thanksgiving or so, but on that.
At least got a laughter out of the audience back there.
There's a vacancy on the BLM management feral wild, or wild feral horse advisory committee. And Kelly Woodruff, one of our ranchers out in Adel, would like for us to give a letter of support for him to be on that advisory committee. Discuss that a little bit more tomorrow. It'd be great to have somebody local on that committee.
I'm all for somebody local if you can do it. If, as long as, I heard you right, you said feral, because there's no room for wild in there.
Wild is a four-letter word, so I agree with you, it's just feral.
There you go, okay. I knew I might get something out of it, Mr. Again.
How many horses did BLM capture a couple weeks ago?
I don't have, the estimated numbers prior to gather was close to bumping 1,500, and they tried to get them down to 100.
But you don't know how many they captured?
They supposedly got it down and finished their gather, so I haven't heard officially, but it should be in the neighborhood of 100.
Oh, so they were very successful.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I'm hopeful they'll do a presentation in a public meeting, so we know.
Yeah. Thing is, once they was kind of successful when they had 1,500 out there, because they had a lot of feral horses to work with. As the numbers started getting down, the remaining horses got more skittish, and it took a lot more effort to kind of corral them.
Well, my understanding on that, Commissioner, was those were the wild ones. They weren't the feral ones when they got down to those numbers, so.
You talking to?
Yeah, I'm not talking to him. I'm looking over here.
You're gonna make me go wild.
Another thing, working on the Wade Brandt, used to be a Oregon Park and Rec ATV person. He's with the club now, and they have an option to put in for a grant to put waypoint signs, and they've asked, they're not quite eligible yet. I'm a little concerned a little bit on it, but we have a few more days to work on it. But they would like, they're not eligible to put in for the, they are 501c3, but the Oregon Park says you have to be established for 3 years, and they've only been established for 1.5 years, so they're not eligible to be put in for this grant. So they asked the county if we would put in for it. What they do, they put a carbonite post out at main intersections, so ATVers, so yes, search and rescue, anybody else can say, okay, I'm at this intersection. If you go up on the forest, you got all these intersections, or logging roads, and you never know which one is which. On ATV route, and just ATV route, not so much forest, but the same idea. If you got lots of roads and people riding out there and they don't know where they're at, you come to this carbonite sign and say, okay, you are now at this intersection. It doesn't say go right or left. It just gives you identify which point it is.
So Commissioner, I appreciated that you sent out some information that you've been working on related to that. So my question is, And I'm not a GPS expert or anything, but couldn't we accomplish, or couldn't they accomplish the same thing when they make the tear sheet maps or whatever size maps they might make available for all these routes, to put those waypoints on the map? So when you hit your GPS and put in, you wanna go to here, it leads you to there and it starts beeping when you get there, as opposed to a Carsonite sign being there telling you that may have gotten removed, or who knows what might have happened to it. And then we get away from the county right-of-way issue and everything else, but they're all listed, however many they want to list on there for places to tour, and people would easily be able to identify that that's where they're at.
If they got to.
Yeah.
Well, that was a promise they made to us.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have that, but I still got some little reservations myself. And Wade yesterday said he'd be willing to come down and go through the program with each of us individually before we submit a date for the grant. So the just right now is, would you entertain having Wade down and having him go over the details? I don't have the finite details.
Yeah, well, I think he needs to do a presentation to us before we would obligate to any kind of commitment on being the recipient of the grant. You know where I'm at, it's the liability, and with one person getting lost over there, buying a hypothermia, and the responsibility of signs, responsibility of maintaining them, and all those things, it worries me. And that, whenever we done our ordinance, we said that straightforward. We said, we're willing to do this ordinance, but we're not gonna take on the signage, we're not gonna take on the maintenance.
Right.
And so, I know that times change and everything, but I really would like to see if the county's gonna be named as one to apply for the grant, then we take on the liability. I'm not comfortable with that at this point individually, but without seeing the grant and the compliance side of it, that's a pretty bold statement out of me also. I just need more information.
I have the same concern on liability, especially if it says at this point you go left, when it actually should have been right, and you ended up in a snowbank and freeze to death, like that scenario many years ago.
Well, I know my GPS is named Katie, and she tries to take me through the woods every time I come through Silver Lake. So once you get into this electronic GPS world, it's not always accurate.
Right, I know.
And
Matter of fact, you loaned me your GPS one time, and it did not tell me that curve that was in front of me.
Yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't sleeping. But the gist is, I told him, go ahead and fill out the, well, there's a time, I've been swamped with stuff, haven't been on it as much as I should. But the deadline for submitters is December 10th, and we don't have another meeting between now and then. So he offered to come down and talk to us individually. I said, you have a selling point you have to make on liability and stuff.
Well, but it's a board decision, so we'd have to have a special meeting
session
to say yea or nay. So,
but the gist right now is, you want him to come down and give it still.
I'd like to wait personally till tomorrow and visit again with legal counsel. I know legal counsel has very strong feelings on this.
I posted to legal counsel and said, not a problem. I said, well, wait a minute. Think about that person who died in snowbank. And he came back and said, yeah, it could be. But I've got the same liability issue. The Bureau of Land Management have signed on. Another group out of Bend signed on.
Could they be the grant applicant? I would think it'd taken a lot more BLM roads in Wood County.
It would, but I think we'll probably pass the date of them submitting.
Well, I think it's a good suggestion to have discussion with legal counsel there. I don't know if the road officials will be there tomorrow or not.
Probably not our top this one.
Yeah, I've been keeping Rick County involved. He has the same concerns that.
Okay. Well, let's continue for tomorrow.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be over in, next Monday in Klamath on this early learning hub, Jim Belay and others, trying to get a little better grip on management.
You're welcome.
And Father,
We'll get even someday for you to not put that money.
I offered it to you guys more
I
than
know.
once,
I know.
but actually, the concept, I'm 120% behind. Get the little kid on the right compass path is the intent.
Yep.
All the details of working it, I'll leave that up to Bob Nash and others.
Good thought. All right, the hearing will continue to stay open. We will recess until 6 o'clock tonight. I didn't catch you off on the liaison updates, or you want to go ahead? Okay. Is there anybody that wants anything on the hearing at this point? There being none, we'll recess and come back at 6 tonight.